So this new update that's just come out, part of the new year, kind of underwhelming, spoiler alert. Not much content. 2 out of the 3 cars that were released have already been announced 2-3 months ago, and one has an early access £5,000 paywall. So I don't think it's worth it in that sense. So first off, we'll start off with the new menu book, which is the Jimny Cup. I initially thought that this was an actual new championship that you can add, because they seem to have abandoned them since they added the super formulas, I believe. But it just turns out it's just 3 separate events on 3 different tracks, which I will show you later. So then the extra menus, there's 2 extra menus which give you a 6-star and a 4-star ticket, I believe. So the first one is all the Nissan race cars. So you've got the Silhouette, you've got the R92CP, you've got the Nissan GTR, GT500, the old school 90s Pennzoil one. For that you get a 6-star roulette ticket, and you can talk to the guy if you want to hear the story. I'm probably going to go in my own time and go through each of them and read through the stories of the cars, because I just keep skipping them and never going back to them. Might be worth looking at, especially if you've got a 4K screen. Then you've got the Dodge ones, which are, you've got the Demon, you've got the GTS02, which you can buy in Brand Central. But then you have to buy the Charger whenever it rolls in the, which one is it? The Legend dealer. So here's the new events. As you can see, first I scrolled to the bottom to see if there was actually new events. Turns out there wasn't a new championship, so it's just 3 separate races, which you can look at in the top right, where you have the completion. Mine's at 96%, as you can see right there next to the weekly challenges. So the first one was obviously, I think there was one at Big Willow Springs, which is obviously the normal track, but no, it's not Big Willow, it's Horse Thief Mile, the weird one. The second one is at Lake Louise on the snow, and then the third one's at Sardinia, not the road track, but the dirt track. I haven't actually done all of them yet. As you can see, I'm kind of broke. I haven't been playing too much recently, but it seems like a good little event for these cars. I think it, from what I remember off the top of the head, it's like a K car version, so it's 3 cylinders, turbo, and pretty lightweight. And then obviously over here you've got the Vision Cup for the new Genesis, which one was on Monza and one is at Tokyo Expressway. Quite short races, just a one and done thing. Nothing to shout out in terms of money grinding, obviously. Need more events for money grinding, need more ways of money grinding, but there's only really one way, and that's Sardinia. If you're competent enough and have the patience, then obviously do Tokyo Expressway. Here's the Jimny. 60 horsepower, many horsepowers out of that 600cc engine. I think it's Japanese spec one, because we don't have this version in the UK. I think our ones are 1 litre 3 cylinders. Obviously this one fits with K-car specifications. I took it around Big Willow, put wide body on it, maxed it out. I think it maxes out at 138 horsepower, so double the power. And it's actually quite a fun car to drive. I maxed it out on comfort mediums, and it actually turned out to be really fun to drive. Obviously, probably does better off-road. I haven't actually driven it off-road besides on the sand on this track, but I'd imagine it would be pretty fun to throw around. 4-wheel drive, lightweight, short wheelbase. It should be pretty nimble. Obviously not a speed demon. Maxed out barely gets above 100 miles an hour. But in this Jimny Cup race, it seems to be pretty overpowered, maxed out. Just need a bit of a driver change, or a, what did they call it? Driver mod. I think that's what they say. I think a lot of people were expecting the New Year update to be like a spectacular start to the year sort of thing. And then it just turns out that they kind of forgotten about their game, and I guess they focused more on the presentation of their World Series, the GTWS. But speaking of promotion, Got a Genesis here, the Berlinetta VGT, which was a ticket from one of the GTWS question things from beginning of December. So we won this car a month ago, if you were on, but it didn't arrive until today, and they just used it as, oh, it's a DLC car. You'll be able to drive it early if you got the questions right. But as always, I think they've done this twice now with cars. I think it was with the Ferrari VGT at first. This car is quite interesting because it is a very good looking car, and if they were to make it in real life, I will not be able to afford it, so there's no point in me considering trying to buy it. But this is the only twin charged vehicle in the game, so it's supercharged, turbocharged and hybrid, and it still only has 800 horsepower even with all the 3 power, and it just needs nitrous next. But this car is good in every way apart from the way it drives. It understeers a lot, then it just snap oversteers almost like the Red Bull, and even though it's 4-wheel drive, as you can see, it's very rear biased. So it's gonna snap out on you at the end of corners. The brakes are horrible. It has a very strange power band to where you have to shift it really early, and it doesn't turn very well. But it's got pretty good straight line speed. I mean, it's got 850 horsepower, so it's good to be faster than straight line. But that's the only thing it's got going for it. A lot of shenanigans happened in this race. I kept spinning out. Then an AI driver spun out in front of me and wrecked me off the track, which is quite funny. But I decided to just keep that in anyway because it's a pretty interesting little clip during the race. And I think that's about it on this car. Lastly, I want to briefly go into the engine swaps because there's 4 new engine swaps, like new engines to the game, and 10 new cars which have engine swaps, which I'm going to show you in a bit. The one engine is the Lexus LFA engine. The second engine is the 3S GTE from the Toyota MR2. There was, I think they might be the only 2 new engines. Actually, no, here we go. Here's the other one, the XJ13. No, it's not the XJ13. The XJR9 engine, Le Mans car, and we've got a Dodge Demon engine in the classic Charger. So it's a pretty interesting selection of vehicles and interesting selection of engine swappable vehicles. Oh yes, and obviously the AMG GT3 engine in the 190e. That's going to be a bit of a handful as well. So there's 5 new engines in that case. And obviously at the end of the video, we've got the 2 new Scapes, the vertical shot and the service station. So that's 1.42 in a nutshell. Obviously subscribe, like, comment, all that sort of stuff. Catch you in the next video, which might be a tune, it might be something else. I haven't decided yet. But either way, I'll see you then.